the Lady Vols ever needed to see a win, today was that day, and they absolutely delivered. A 77-37 win over Texas A&M in the opening round of the SEC tournament was fueled by 37 points off of turnovers for the Lady Vols. It marks the 8th time this season where they've cashed in 30 or more points in a single season. It also ties the 1997-98 team for the most in program history. So how does all of this fuel them for a rematch against Vanderbilt? We'll get to that in just a second. Right now, let's talk all things Talaysia Cooper and the team getting an opening round win. I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass on Full Disclosure. Talaysia Cooper was a game-time decision in this match after rolling her ankle in the regular season finale against Georgia, and whether or not she'd play in this game was a huge point of emphasis. She wasn't in the starting lineup, but it didn't take but a couple of minutes later for her to check into the game. And then it wasn't but a minute after that where she was finally contributing to the team en route to getting the team's first 2 points of the game on that layup that she got the Lady Vols. Then as A&M is trying to get in transition, the Lady Vols bring the press. They did so much of that in this game, and as Talaysia Cooper coming in on the secondary level of help, that last second effort is what they needed to force that 10-second violation. Talaysia Cooper did so much for this team. She's absolutely the engine to this offense, and most of the time it is sparked by what she does on defense. She led the team in points, rebounds, and steals in this game, but she tells me even though that this is the 4th time this season she's come off the bench, she says it doesn't matter when she gets onto the court, she just wants to be on the court playing.
No matter if I'm starting to come off the bench, I'm always play how I play my game, stay locked in, and knowing what my team needs from me and knowing what we need in the most.
Remember that funny moment when Kim Caldwell was talking about the gifts that she gives the players after each game, like the Hamburglar and the wrestling belt that Sarah Puckett was wearing? Well, that reemerged today. Jules Spear had a tiara, and it was Cooper this time getting the Hamburglar award. And I'm maybe wanting to do another story on that, so if you still find that of interest, it was really interesting getting the players' perspective this time instead of just the coaches. I probably can do that later today and ahead of the Vanderbilt rematch as well. So let me know if you want to do that. Getting back to Talaysia Cooper and what she provided for this team, again, leading the team in all of those categories. She had 19 points, she had 8 rebounds, 3 steals, doing all of it in about 23 minutes of play, and she probably could have done more damage, but the team didn't need her out there because they're getting a 30-plus margin victory today against Texas A&M. But it's what she does in her aggressiveness and her physicality that Z Spearman says jumps out the most about Cooper's game.
Just her confidence, just her determination, and her aggressiveness gets her going all the time, especially on defense as well.
There are so many nice features to this car that I really enjoyed in my drive to Greenville. Like you probably will see in the video in a second, it tells me how close I am to like other objects, which is nice because this car is kind of big for me. And then, you know, being able to see the speed on the hologram through the windshield is really nice, especially when I'm in areas that I'm unfamiliar with. And just how quiet the drive was made it such a pleasant ride to Greenville to cover the Lady Vols. Yeah, Talaysia Cooper wasn't the only one willing to drive to the rim today to bring that physicality. Truly, the Tennessee toughness in this match was the underlying secret weapon for the Lady Vols. They outworked Texas A&M in essentially every category that you can think of. And a couple of times where that toughness, in my mind, really showed up was in the opening minutes or in the first quarter. And it was a loose ball. Tennessee had possession of it. They're literally scraping and fighting for it on the ground. Somehow Tennessee recovers it. They kick it out to Jules Spear from the wing, and she sinks it, and it gives Tennessee a 9-8 lead early in the first quarter. Then we fast forward a little bit more, and there's another moment where Tennessee was able to get a turnover. They weren't able to capitalize on it on offense. Texas A&M gets the defensive rebound, but who's there to try and disrupt it? Well, it's Samara Spencer and Talaysia Cooper. They actually turn Sol Williams over, and Talaysia is able to kick it back to Samara Spencer. You kind of see her looking around, but like numbers are on her side. Everyone else is pretty much back out on offense and defense. They've already transitioned, and she looks around and she just was like, oh, and ends up taking the 3. And this is Samara recalling that play after the game.
I was looking to pass it, but then I don't even remember who it was. I just heard somebody say shoot it, so I shot it. I didn't realize how open I was, but I'm glad I had the confidence in my teammates that when I'm open, they tell me to shoot it.
While we're on the topic of recalling plays, let's recall this one. It's when rebounds also begin to feed Tennessee's offense, not just what they did with turnovers. Here in this rebounding moment, it's the final minute of the third quarter. Tennessee's defense is playing stout coverage. Texas A&M is having to work the entire shot clock here in the final possession of the third quarter. They end up taking a really bad-looking three. It just bounces off of the backboard, and it's Alyssa Latham who gets a defensive rebound. There's 4 seconds left when she gets that defensive rebound. Somehow she dishes it all the way out to Jewel Spear, who's in transition, and she pulls up from Tennessee's baseline all the way out near, mid-court it looked like, and sank the three-pointer. And not even Kim Caldwell could hide her smirk during that moment because it was such an incredible play. So of course I too had to ask Jewel Spear what she was seeing in that moment.
It felt really good. I was telling my teammates, they said they didn't expect me to shoot it because it was so deep, but there was like 4 seconds left, and the defender was sagging, so I just shot it.
So that play made it 60-28. How about this play that made it 62-28, highlighting another aspect that led to a Tennessee win, and it came down to ball movement. They utilized much of their shot clock in this bucket here, where they were trying to find the best shot. It was a moment where we saw that they weren't getting sped up. They really were controlling the pace of the game, and they looked very poised. 3 characteristics that we can't truly say we saw in the last 2 games of the regular season. But here in their ability to go around the horn, putting it inside, taking it back out, they found Z Spearman all alone on an island for the easiest layup at the baseline that she probably will have in her career. I think there's even a moment where she looked at her defender and who was guarding her, and she's like, I am this open, here I go. And she went and took the layup. That type of ball movement is crucial for Tennessee because, again, how much they have looked sped up these last few games. So they look very much more in control. Now, how does all of this prepare them for what Vanderbilt might show them, who is very hot as of late? They obviously played top-ranked teams 2 of their last 4 games, and then they won their last 2 games, putting up 90 or more points in both of those final 2 contests. What we need to see from the Lady Vols is their ability to maintain this focus, which they say was a difference maker heading into today.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. Like, we had 2 tough losses back to back, but we stayed together as a team, and that's very important in March, with it being win or go home, and every possession is important.
No question, this is a rematch, a revenge game for Tennessee. The angle of them having a chip on their shoulder will certainly take center stage when they meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. They had to overcome a 5-point second quarter when they met in Nashville earlier this year. They ended up clawing back a little bit, but lost 71-70 in that match, a chance to kind of get the revenge. And as Ruby Whitehorn will tell you, they just got to go out there and play Tennessee basketball.
Very exciting, definitely. But I mean, we in this game for us. We in this tournament for us. We gonna show up and play Tennessee basketball. Vanderbilt's gonna do what they gotta do, but we just gonna come in and be us.
Pierre and Malika Blake, they are 2 players that are averaging 20 or more points a game. Those 2 players are key reasons why Vanderbilt is as successful as they are, especially here down the stretch. Look to them to contribute greatly in that match tomorrow. I may be back later today if the Hamburglar angle is something that we want. If not, I'll have that prepared later this week. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any more post-game reports coming up after the Vanderbilt game, probably roughly around this same time as well. I also have one-on-one player interviews from the locker room back on the bonus tab if you kind of want to enjoy that whole thing instead of the bits and pieces that I highlighted here that I found most important. Definitely go to the home tab shortly after this, and most of those will be up there. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.